Activate. Hello there, and welcome back to Mr. Larry's Craft Show. This is episode 9. We're almost at the end of this series, but I'll be bringing you a new series in just a few weeks. We'll continue our crafts and hopefully explore some new things that maybe you have forgotten about or things you've been wanting to try for a while. So stay tuned. I'll be back soon. Next week, I have something really special planned for next week. I hope you guys enjoy it. Even more special than today's episode, which is all about felt. It is mid-September. Our project today is one that is just in time for the new season. It's beginning to look a lot like fall out there. I'm pretty certain that I've seen the ghost of autumn past lurking around my house. Is that an angel, baby? No, that's his dance move. We'll be using felt sheets, which you can buy at pretty much any store, to create a beautiful assortment of flowers that will then apply to a wreath in this case, or however you'd like to use them. You can use them any way you like. They could simply go in your hair. You can do a whole lot of things with these flowers, but really the fun part of this is creating your very own flowers out of whatever colors you like, inventing new species of flowers, if you like, and just having fun with the whole process. This will be a lovely calling card to the rest of the world that you are also embracing fall, but that you're doing so with some interesting colors and with, you know, a smiling heart. So we're gonna get into this project, but first I want to share with you 3 things that'll help us get started and give you a little bit of felt background, starting with thing number 1. Felt is a textile material that's produced by rubbing, matting, or condensing fibers together. It can take many forms and it can be made out of natural fibers like wool or synthetic ones. It's considered to be the oldest known textile, or the OG, of fabrics. Its origins are most likely in Central Asia, Siberia, Mongolia, and then it's spread from there throughout all of the world. There are tombs in Siberia dating back as far as 1 AD. The contents of these tombs contain evidence of a rich culture of felt making, with a variety of dyes adding explosive colors to the felt. Everything from housewares to actual houses contained felt, as well as jewelry, religious items, and saddles. And that brings us to thing number 2. The 1970s, or as I like to call it, the crafters decade, saw a revival and interest in textile and fiber arts. Felt making organizations sprang up all around the world for individuals to get together and talk felt. Today, we have felt made from a range of fibers, including human hair, pet hair, and plastic bottles like these guys. And that brings us to thing number 3. Most of us are familiar with this style of felt. It's available at pretty much every craft store imaginable and most big box stores as well. It's usually available for pennies and it comes in a huge range of colors. This craft grade felt is thin enough to allow you to do some really intricate things with it, but it's sturdy enough to really last and be durable. For today's craft, we're going to cut a series of petal shapes and centers for our various flowers using whatever comes to mind. I'll also be providing you with a template that you could use if you prefer that. You'll cut the shapes and then you'll glue them together using a hot glue gun. I'll be using this little guy, not just because it coordinates with my nails, but because I'm working in small spaces with this hot glue gun. I'm doing small work, so I want to use a small gun. Along with the felt and the hot glue gun, I'll be using this pre-made wreath, which I'll attach my flowers to. I used a pre-made wreath because it was almost $5 and I don't want to go out into the forest and gather twigs right now, but perhaps we'll do that in series 2. I've selected some My Little Pony inspired colors and I want to make one of the smaller flowers that I think typically comes out really, really nice. And I'm going to give it a few different central layers and we'll make a beautiful thing out of it. I'm going to start by cutting my pieces for the center. I want to use a little, the only way I can really think of referring to it is as a knot. I'm going to roll a bit. I've just made a small pinwheel. Then instead of continuing around, I'm going to tack it down on one side a new piece of this strip and go across the top. Trim that and tack it down. And then I'll do that again to form an X. I just think it looks cute. It has a different sort of handmade feel that I really like. And it looks like a little button. The next layer I want to do out is going to be this light blue. So I think I'll stick with the little spiky things, but this time I'm going to make them pretty short because I want to layer them out with the pink one next. So it's going to get a little crowded in there, but it's a magical fantasy flower, so why wouldn't it be magical and fantastical? Okay, so that's layer 2 of our floral center. Layer 3 will do a similar effect but with longer spikies. Maybe in fact, let's make it a different shape. Princess power! Be sure to try and start your layers as you're wrapping around at different points. You don't want all of the layers to start at the same join because it'll get really bulky and it will not look good. I want to do light petals on the inside and then darker petals on the outside. So I have 5 petals here, and I'll try to arrange them the way that flowers would grow in nature. This will go in the center, and then I'll do another layer of petals underneath that. I'm gonna go ahead and tack these together as a unit, which will make my life easier in the future. She's coming alive! One more level of flowers, this time in a darker color. Remember, this is not about being exact, it's about getting the right sensation. Again, find the windows between the petals and work with those. So what I'm gonna do from here is glue on the flowers that I've made for my wreath. This is really just about balancing the wreath to your particular liking. There are no rules in wreathing. I don't think so. If the wreath police are So I'm gonna imagine that this is the top of my wreath, and I'll fill in the rest from there. I always like when they get smaller toward the top. It just is a really nice weight distribution, I think. I'm just using my same hot glue. I'm gonna glue around the base of each flower, and then I'll go back in and tack the petals down as needed to help give it security and keep them in place. And we have our finished wreath. Very quick, very easy, and it's just something that is a little more special than what you might find in the grocery store or at your craft store that's pre-made for you. And you can use this as a way to say whatever it is that you want to say. So your message could be more colorful than this, or maybe you do a black and white thing. That could be kind of cool. I hope that you guys enjoyed this project today. I hope that your wreath will be a way for you to infuse your front door with some warmth as we receive these chilly winds. And I will see you all next week. Bye.